Welcome to those that are already just joining. We're just going to give it a few minutes before we get started. Thank you for everyone joining so far. Just giving people the access to be able to speak to us before we do an introduction. So hopefully you'll be able to put your questions into the Q&A, but I will remind you of a couple of housekeeping items when we get started in the next minute or so. Okay. Thank you for those that are joining. Just going to put you all on mute for the first few minutes before we get started. Okay. So I think we'll leave it in the background, Adam, for everyone to join, and until that time, we'll get started. So welcome to the final session of CMDB. So this is an Ask the Expert session. It's around managing Helix CMDB data for modern workloads. So this is bringing our 5 sessions together, so technically the 6th session. You've got a team of experts on here today, and we've been joined by our product manager, Rahul, as well. So hopefully if there's any product related questions, we can get those answered today. Just a couple of caveats to remind you, because this is being recorded and it's likely to go onto YouTube. Please be mindful that you don't share any data with us that shouldn't be allowed by your company. So if you can just take a few minutes to read this legal notice. And while we're doing that, I would just like to hand over and introduce my panel. So first of all, I'm Samantha Raymond. I work as a senior program manager at BMC. Most of you are probably very familiar with my name, having run quite a few webinars and also Ask the Expert sessions. So again, if you do have any questions around content you would like to see, then please reach out. I would then like to hand over to my co-host, Adam Lawson. Adam has been working with me very closely to bring all these sessions together. So Adam, if you can just introduce yourself and your week you did.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name's Adam Lawson. I'm a developer here at BMC. I work on the SEAL team. That's the Solution Engineering Architect Leaders team. And we, as a part of our team, one of our main parts is to engage with customers and really help them get over their unique hurdles. And I was, like Samantha said, I helped kind of orchestrate. I didn't really do a whole lot. Most of the other people here actually did the work. I just helped organize everything and get these webinars strung together. And I also presented week 5's data management webinar. I'll go ahead and pass it off to Charlotte. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi there. My name is Charlotte Davidson. I am part of support working on the CMDB product suite. So I work on single sign-on issues as well. My week was week 4, which was managing multiple data sources for modern CMDB. And that was basically around what reconciliation does and how to create jobs and what are identification and merge rules and what do they do. So I'll hand over to Integrator next.
Thank you. Yeah, hi, this is Indevi here. I was there in the session 1 where I presented about how to bring in data using discovery and other third-party tools and use that data to model your service models using the latest technology that we have in BMC, that is blueprints. So using those blueprints, they were dynamic, they were quick to make, and you can have them used in your ITSM when you push them, sync them to CMDB, and it's available. You can also have the latest things in your asset and use those as you go ahead. The data that you push in from discovery, you can drill down. You can have that till 3 layers of uh, relationships and all available in your CMDB. And thank you. I'll hand over to Rahul Vedak here.
Thanks, Indraj. Hey everyone, thanks for joining the webinar today. My name is Rahul. I'm part of a product management team here at BMC, and of course, I'm leading the CMDB, but as well as have some other products in the Helix stack, which include single sign-on and reporting that I manage. If there are any questions on CMDB roadmap, I'll be happy to chime in today. And with that, I'll have Sumit here.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Sumit. I'm part of the UX team, and I'll be happy to answer all questions on UX related. I pass over to Payal.
Thanks, Sumit. Hey, hi everyone. This is Payal, and I work for CMDB support team along with Remedy Single Sign-On. And I had conducted the second week session on CMDB workload that was related to Atrium Integrator's code. So that's all from my side. Yeah, please feel free to ask any questions that you have related to Atrium Integrator or any of the module from the CMDB, because you have experts on that product, and we will be trying our best to help you on any queries that you will be having today.
Thank you, Paul. I know we've got Jean-Christophe that will be joining us also shortly. Jean-Christophe works in Premier Support. I've spent many years working with him and customers, so he will be joining very shortly. So if you do have any reconciliation or normalization type questions, he's also there to be able to help you. So without further ado, Adam, I'm kind of keen to get started. I know we didn't have any questions come into the community prior, so I'm not sure whether our customers are really shy, but that's definitely not been the case when we've been doing our webinar sessions. So I think when we summarize it all, part of when we put this, I guess, series and campaign together, it was mainly around customers and their engaging and how technology's changed in the IT world and how important CMDB's become. So I know based on that, we were talking about putting this campaign together, and you've discussed with me identification roles, certainly different rules, certainly different topics. So maybe that's a good starting point.
Yeah, thanks for introducing us here. So absolutely, one of the biggest topics we had throughout the different weeks, we saw it in week 2 and 3. People asked questions about it, and we were like, hold on to week 4. And then we talk about it in week 4 with the identification rules with Charlotte. And then, of course, week 5, it comes up a little bit again. One of the things, and for everyone to understand me a little bit better, I always think from a functional point of view. What is this actually doing? What are we? I'm not a thinking and technology guy. I'm a functional guy, and duplicates is one of the things we hear so much about. And ultimately, the way we resolve duplicates, or prevent them rather, is having good identification rules. Reconciliation is the name of the process that we have in CMDB to help merge multiple data sets into a singular data set that is considered a golden data set. It has the most accurate data. It's supposed to be the most groomed set of data. It's supposed to be the most complete set of data. And that data set is what all of your applications like asset management, help desk, change management key off of in order to have those relationships. Now, as a rule of thumb, this isn't exactly true, but CMDB is there as a conduit for these other applications, right? It is not, you do not buy a CMDB product for CMDB. You buy a CMDB product so that way all your other things can relate to the CIs. So the identification rules are really critical to getting all of your sources of data to align correctly, because not everything is going to have the same information. BMC obviously makes discovery, but you also have Microsoft that makes SCCM. And you have a ton of other tools out there. They're all really good. They do great jobs. I'm not here to say one's better than the other, because they all have their own use cases. That's an argument and discussion for another time. So we at BMC have a lot of out-of-the-box rules that we provide, and we usually provide them based upon discovery, the product that we make. We provide them based upon what the industry standards are for other primary tools like SCCM. I think that's probably the most popular tool outside of discovery that customers use. And so the rules that we ship with are built with the one size fits all mantra, right? That doesn't mean it fits everything. One size fits most, right? And you're going to inevitably come across a data source at some point in time. Yesterday, we discussed potentially like a spreadsheet import that had a very minimal amount of data, because you don't want to fill everything out. That's going to happen. Charlotte, I'm going to actually share my screen real quick too. And Charlotte, I'm going to have you, if I can figure out, I always struggle with Zoom here. You guys should be able to see a screen share coming in.
Yeah, it's there.
Awesome. Charlotte, me and you are going to walk through real quick. I'm going to let you kind of do the directing, and I'll do the driving, if that's okay with you. Okay. On number one, looking at our identification rules. And then we'll go and look at a reconciliation job and apply our new rule to the reconciliation job. That's okay.
Okay.
So the first thing, we'll go up here to configurations, reconciliation, and identification rules. And you can see that bulk inventory here doesn't have anything, but as we go down through, there are more rules to be had. Let's focus on computer system. I'd say that's probably the most important, right? That's the one people use the most. And I believe we do. We have a custom rule set already here. So you can see the standard out of the box rule set. And we talked about these. I'd say the one that people are probably most concerned with will probably be priority 2. And you can see that it has the full qualification here. So you can, map this out and go through it on your own just to verify. But you also have like a quick look down here. It tells you all the fields that are included. And this kind of gives you a good idea that these are the 4 fields that have to be unique and have to match. But then once you get past these, priorities, and you look at them all and you think, oh, my data set doesn't match this for whatever reason, that's whatever you can go on to create your own custom rules. And you can see where I had one here where class ID equals class ID. By the way, that's a terrible rule. No one should have just that by themselves. But then we have another one here that was created. This is a part of the My IT Service Broker. It adds this rule in. So it has some additional rules. I think most of these are identical to our out-of-the-box rules.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so we can absolutely go through that. Charlotte, now that I've kind of showed this, you want to lead us through the steps to add a rule set, and we'll go to the job real quick.
Okay, right. So if you want to add a rule set, click Add Rule Set, give it the name, and then Create Rule Set. Okay, and then you need to add a rule. So choose the data set that you want to identify against. So you could, if you wanted that to be a different data set, you can choose that there, but we'll keep it as asset. And then create your rule. So whatever rule you want to match your CIs uniquely with.
What's I'll tell you a good one that we don't usually include, but a lot of customers do like. CI tag, right? A lot of customers use that tag ID to identify things uniquely. So we'll use that this time.
Then you, as a value, yeah, you want to click as value. And then click CI tag.
Like this.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, if you
All
wanted
right.
to add another rule to your rule sets, you can do so, but you'll need to have an execution order, and that defines the order that these rules run in, starting from lowest first.
All right. We're not going to expand this any further. This is a demonstration. Everyone would hopefully be able to expand that themselves. Let's go grab this real quick. I'm going to create a new job because I don't want to mess up my other ones. You want to walk us through this, Charlotte?
Yeah, uncheck use standard rules. And then add an activity. Okay, you can change the name if you want to. Select your data set. So that's the source data set. So the data set where you're getting your CIs from. Production, that's fine. And then click there, click on custom rule set. Find your computer system and apply.
Now, this is something else I'm going to discuss real quick. If you have a data set, a source of data like a spreadsheet that we mentioned a second ago, that is not particularly well groomed. Let's say, for example, you have 1,000 CIs in this spreadsheet and you're not certain about the data, and you know that 100 of the 1,000 are going to come back good, or 200 or whatever number, but you're questioning 500, 600 and you're not really sure. Don't let it generate IDs. Just leave those that we're not certain about, leave them out. We don't want junk data coming in. We can always go back at a later point in time and enhance the source data set, and then they will identify. But if you're sending a spreadsheet out to a bunch of people and you can't really trust them to type in things right, or you're getting it from a source that's been known to cause problems, don't allow junk in. You can always go back and retroactively enhance that. And we're going to leave this unselected as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a merge and a purge as well.
Yeah, okay.
Just real quick. We're not going to talk about precedences, although those can be added and changed just like ID rules can. And actually, I'm not going to include a purge either. This doesn't need a schedule, I don't think. And here's my demo October. And of course, you can start, delete, and edit the job from here. You can add a schedule to it. And really, that's all you have to do to start getting your ID rules in place. And this kind of a process, coupled with reports, with some kind of, we talked about the dashboard as well yesterday, using this dashboard. I mean, It's really good. It has a lot of good information here. Using that information to then once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, go and improve your processes. Really important. So since then, we've had some questions pop in. I haven't had a chance to look at them. Charlotte, do you have anything else to add to this kind of process here?
No, I don't think so. But you just you always need to make sure that any rules that you create match the CIs uniquely. So you know, that's the only caveat. So beware if you put anything in that's not so good, you're not going to get good data into your CMDB.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Adam, do you want to go on to the questions and then we can come back if anyone else has got any other questions? We can also recap on some of the weeks that we've done. So Eric had a first question. I don't know, Eric, if you're on and can unmute yourself rather than Adam and I and the team do the talking. Do you want to field your question?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah. Hey.
Hey. Yeah, so Adam, you had presented yesterday in the CMDB dashboard the integrity measure that shows duplicates. And when I check that in our environment, we see a large number of duplicates and it shows the rules corresponding to those. But it looks like those are the custom, or sorry, the standard rules that are being leveraged to determine a duplicate. So I was curious if there was an opportunity there to refine those to adhere to the custom ID rules that we use in our environment.
Yeah. So you're talking about right here where
Correct. Yes.
it identifies the rule. So here's I'm going to say this. I'm not 100% certain, but I am 90% certain you can't change this.
Okay.
Charlotte, Devendra, do you guys know
No.
for certain?
No, I don't think there is a way to set the custom rules.
Yeah. And here's the reason why, Eric, and could we probably think of an intelligent way to do it? Maybe. And that's something me and Raul can talk about. Raul, the project manager. The problem is those rules that you create for identification are created based upon the source data set. They're not based upon the production data set, right? You say, hey, this source of data has this type of data. I trust these, 2, 3 fields, like we used the tag today. I trust that field from this source. Doesn't necessarily mean you trust it from other sources, right? Because like a tag, Discovery cannot find a tag. A tag is an arbitrary number that you give your system. Some companies just use serial number. Other companies use their own nomenclature. We have no way of figuring that out in Discovery. So I wouldn't want to use tag against my golden data set to my source data set. And this rule is looking for duplicates in your production data set. Do you see what I'm getting at here, Eric? So, those unique, and once again, going back to my point, we probably could think of an intelligent way to do this, certainly. It's just those ID rules are not meant to find duplicates in the same data set. Therefore, it's a different scenario. But I will be glad, me and Raul, after this is over, me and him can absolutely talk about what could we do to improve that. Okay.
Yeah. And in our environment, we see that we're, I guess, in violation for Rule 1 token ID. And it looks like a lot of the equipment in our environment that may be subject to being swapped in and out. And I think for those, the token ID coming over from Discovery is set to the fully qualified domain name. So when a device is replaced, it's going to have that same token ID, and it's, in violation of that. Now, from our custom identification, we leverage different attributes to determine, okay, this is, even though it has the same name and potentially same token ID, it is a distinct new piece of hardware in the environment, and we need a new CI for that.
Yeah. Token, that'd be a hard one because token ID should be uniquely unique no matter what you do. I would be interested in seeing from a discovery perspective how it's generating that ID. I would want to investigate that more before I say a whole lot more about it. But
Okay.
I will definitely me and Raul will have a discussion about what maybe we can do to help make this duplicates integrity exception list a little bit more robust. Very good suggestion, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I was going to look on our end to see, from a sync mapping perspective, how that token ID was being defined. So that may be an opportunity on our end as well.
Mhm.
And then one just piece of user feedback on this dashboard specifically is it would be nice to be able to export from here. And I don't know if maybe I'm just missing something here, but we can get up to 100 per page, but actually being able to export and say, hey, I want to target everything that's violating a specific rule. That would be a nice feature to have.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down too. All right, I got both of those
Thanks,
suggestions
Adam.
in, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question came from Jess. Jess, do you want to unmute? I know we've had a couple of questions on previous sessions, so you're a pro at this now. I'm just checking to see if you can come off mute.
I see Jess is still on the call.
There we go.
There she is.
Sorry, I
There
had
she is.
unmuted my headset, but it didn't register.
That's okay.
So yeah, we've got some containerization going on in our environment, particularly in the cloud space, which we haven't set discovery up for yet. So there's a lot coming, but we have some in our discoverable area as well. And it changes all day long. And I'm curious, we haven't gotten it configured yet so that we're actually like trying to map those to an application, but I'm trying to figure out how does that look when if I map it today, those containers have completely moved, changed, been destroyed, and recreated by tomorrow. Or even if I did it this, I don't know, if we ran reconciliation in the middle of the day, it's changed by the afternoon, right?
Sure. Yeah. So the first thing, and this is, maybe good, maybe bad. I'm not for sure. I think it's probably neutral. With the cloud and container space, you are not spinning up the same instance ever again. Every time a container is deployed, it's based upon the same source image. It's what makes containers, really great. You never have to worry about your data on the system getting out of sync. It's always going to be from the same image. That is a huge benefit, but because it is uniquely unique every single time, really what you're not shutting down and restarting. Instead, what you're really doing is completely destroying and completely recreating that virtual system in that container. Endovir, I know Discovery has quite a few tricks for discovering containerized systems. Are you able to speak to any of that today?
Yeah, so using Discovery, you can bring in all those nodes, which would be CIs in CMDB, but you'll have to then decide on what cycle do you want to have for your discovery. If it is too ephemeral, it's changing every few hours. You cannot have discovery running all that time. But if it's once in a day you are doing that discovery, you'll have that picture at that point of time. Your picture may change within a few hours, as you're saying. You could have some, I'll say, monitoring tools. You can bring in those the data from the topology data from those monitoring tools using intelligent integration that will update your topology and discovery. It will update your topology. I'll say the service maps and things in CMDB. You can get that picture, but then it will always be new. So you'll have new things, and whatever is not marked as delete or so things that have not yet been deleted, you have a cycle. Discovery will keep on checking that for a few days, whatever is defined in the configuration, and after that period is gone, then only it will remove that node. But you can get the true current picture at that particular instance when the discovery is running uh, into your discovery topology and into your CMDB synced. We are, I'll say, discovery is working on getting all that process and communication and everything for the cloud environments done properly so that in the next releases, everything shows up properly in topology. Though, currently also everything will appear fine, all nodes you'll be able to identify this is your current state. But it will still be uh, stale to the point that when it was last discovered. So we would suggest implementing some new monitoring tools which can so the third party monitoring tool with which you can bring in data every minute and sync that in your discovery and use that.
Okay, and if I
Yeah.
want to know more about those monitoring tools and how to connect them, I should put in a support ticket?
So so there are you can put in a support ticket. You can for discovery. So as such, if you discover using cloud discovery, you will get that state. There are few integrations available as part of our intelligent integration product, the component that is there in Helix. You
Mhm.
can bring in data using those third-party monitoring tools. We have around about 30 plus integrations available for now, and the list is changing every month with the new things that are coming in. Yes, you can go through the documentation I'd shared earlier. Also, I'll share that link for the intelligent integration, and you will get the complete list of current integrations available.
Yeah,
Great.
I actually have the doc here somewhere.
And then, and again, this is because I haven't tried to do this. Let's assume we're okay with just show me the state as of yesterday for each nightly reconciliation. How does it know that the nodes that it sees today are the ones that should be in the application that I mapped a week ago?
Okay,
Can it do
so
that?
yes, so with so that is what we told you regarding using blueprints. So using blueprints, if you have created your service model, in your blueprint you define. So you'll define the node using. So this blueprint is a template. In that template, you would have defined these would be my starting nodes. So you can define this kind of software cluster or this kind of particular software instance if it is found. So you'll have the same. Let's say you have the same example of shipping. You have your shipping currently running on EC2 instance 1. Tomorrow it changes to EC2 instance 2. But because you are now making your, so you have your blueprint based on shipping, that blueprint will go, so your service model will be updated dynamically because your discovery has a new instance or a VM identified for that, and it is checking on the shipping. So whatever that service which is based on that shipping node, it will show you the correct picture of what your hosts are, what your VMs are, how it is connected to your infra network, all that. So all that information will be updated when you bring in the new discovery data.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like we need to be looking closely at blueprints and
Yes, and
the other
that would
one.
be synced. So once it is brought in, it will be synced to CMDB also because things have changed. So it will be a new sync to CMDB. It will get the new update. You can see it in your CMDB also.
So I wanted to share this real quick for you, Jess. We do have this in our documentation, and as Indivior said, this isn't the complete list anymore. And we could go up to newer versions, but this is the one I had bookmarked, right? You have where it has App Dynamics, Eternity, Dynatrace, SOCOM, Prometheus, SolarWinds, Splunk, Zabbit. These are all big name tools that a lot of companies use. And II is able to pull that data, and we, like I said, we have exactly how to do this in our documentation, and configure your environment with steps on the type of data that gets pulled in, and all kinds of things. This is where you're going to get your fast twitch responsive updates. A scanned discovery for a scanned discovery for a cloud environment is like a spreadsheet import for a virtual machine environment, right? Scan discovery is just a thing of the past at this point. Like, it's good to have to get your physical hardware, which is really critical. It's good to get those things, but you're going to have to use these other tools to get live data from a cloud environment. So I would say your question was kind of two things, like how do I manage this and how do I model it? You need to manage it before you model it, right? You have to be able to get that data in repetitively and have a good process there and have these integrations. Once you have the data, then you can start talking about how should we model those things. And we have a couple of blueprints, like Indivior was saying, that you can absolutely leverage to start figuring that out. But start down this path. Let us know if you need help with that. Engage with your account manager and your success manager. Those are two people that'll be really critical to help making sure that you have the training and the resources. And if needed, the SEAL team can engage with you guys on a case-by-case basis. So absolutely keep in touch with those people. They'll be extremely critical for that.
The account manager and the
there's a customer success manager, I think is what they're called, CSM.
Yeah, or Premier is the other one. It depends on your account. If you've got a customer success manager, customer success specialist, or a Premier account manager. Jess, if you have any problem with that, drop me a message. I can have a look online and find who manages your account if you can't find that.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's move on. So we don't have any further questions because our team's been busy answering them, and I'm going to just recap with Pyle. Pyle's answered a couple of questions, Adam, that we had into the discussion on the Q&A. So Petrus asked a question. I don't know, Petrus, if you're online, but he was asking a question around, I understand, what does duplicates mean if not two CIs in the same class and same data set with the same name in given example? And Pyle, I know you've answered that question, so I don't know if between yourself and Devendra, you just want to add some context. We may have other customers that have got a similar type question. So I don't know, yeah, if you want.
Yeah, sure. So this duplicate, the tab that we have, it picks up the same record based on the ID rule. It will be showing for the same data set, and it is not bothered about the staging data sets that we have. It will be always looking into bmc.asset. So that is the data set which system will be using to find the duplicate, and it will be using the standard ID rules that it has to find if system is having duplicates. So Adam, maybe you can share your screen for any one of the sample we can take, and we can show customer like what is the backend data and how it looks for the duplicates which are reported in the integrated report.
I can, if you'll give me just a few minutes here.
Sure.
Why, Adam, you're pulling this up. I know Devendra did give an additional comment, so I don't know, Devendra, if you've got more context as well between the answer for Petrus.
Yeah. So I just added like Recon is always going to check the ID rules for the duplicate. So if you have serial number in the identification rule, so it will try to find if you have any duplicates according to serial number in the golden data set. That's what it does.
So hopefully, Petrus, I don't know if you're still on, if that answered your question. Adam's obviously going to pull up the example, but did you have anything else further to your question that you put into the Q&A? I'm not sure, Adam, if he's able to come off mute, but I don't know if you're ready to just give the example
Yeah.
of share.
I can quickly. So from this, we'll just look at this one finance business service. It says it has a duplicate instance based upon the name rule. So it's a business service. So like we was talking earlier with Eric, I believe is who asked. Go to this identification rule here for business service.
Did you start sharing yet, Adam, please? I don't see.
Is it not sharing? Okay.
No,
Let me
not yet.
Let me kill my share and start it back over again. Okay.
Perfect. We can see your
Looks good
screen.
now.
All right. So let me go backwards. So if we look at our duplicates here, this finance business service says that it is the name rule. So let's go look at the identification rule for business service first. So token ID, it didn't go against token ID, but it went against name, and name is, pretty straightforward. Name equals name, and name is not null. So let's go back to our dashboard again. And this particular finance service, and all you have to do from this dashboard is click on it, and it brings it up. It brings up one record. So let's show details. What is the name? Oh, yeah, it's just finance. Right here it is. So it's nothing special. And there are, in fact, two. And I'm going to click both of these and show and explore real quick. And if we look at these two, so this is Petramco, and I bet this one's Calbro Services or something. Yep, Calbro Services. So these business services are, in fact, unique. One is for one company, one is for the other. It's just the rule itself, because a business service is a logical entity. It is not physical. It is not virtual. You could potentially have two different financial services for two different companies if you had a hierarchical group. This is something like I mentioned yesterday. This particular dashboard is more aggressive for duplicates, and it will give you some false positives. So this is some example. Duplicates, in your question you mentioned, yes, a duplicate has to be in the same data set, has to be of the same class. All those things have to be true. But this is, in fact, not a true duplicate. So just went through that process really quickly with just the first one that came up. So we have and I'm assuming you don't have any other comments to make about that.
No, if you do have any questions, you want to unmute yourself.
Hey, Adam, as we are here, can you share your screen again?
I will be glad
I just wanted to answer the first question which appeared, like, is there a way to change completeness for like custom attribute? So there is a way. If you go to configurations, dashboard parameters, and completeness, but here it will show all the standard rules. So if you pick computer system, yeah, so they can change it from here, but they'll have to manually add custom rules here, like how they have. Yeah.
So we can customize these then.
Yeah.
By this completeness. Yeah. This must be within the past year or two a new feature.
Yeah.
So very good, very good. we'll, Eric, I told you wrong 30 minutes ago. So you can absolutely add more or less and figure out how to handle that.
Yeah,
Very
but by
good.
default, it will show the standard rules. Yeah, you'll have to customize it.
Devendra is in fact a rock star. Thank you for finding that so quickly.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so do you want to go to the next question, Adam? We've got one
Yep.
from Pandy. Please
Pandy.
advise whether how to stop the CI asset lifecycle status update if changed to the end of life support, hence it will override to delete again once it's in decommission. I don't know, Pandy, if you want to come off mute.
Hi everyone. So just want to check for one of this scenario. So in current environment, so people they may select that the asset life cycle status to end of life when the particular server is decommissioned manually through the change process. But after a couple of scan, after 7 consecutive scan, discovery will identify and discovery status will update the status to mark as deleted to yes in CMDB.
Sure.
And in that situation, asset lifecycle status will auto change to delete.
Yeah.
So which means like system is setting to decommission, but the process wise what the configuration manager is change the status, it's changing by automation. So what we are expecting that the decommissions process wise, yes, CMDB status can update to yes as per the standard process, but we want to avoid that should not update in the asset lifecycle status.
So I think there's two solutions here. The first solution I don't like quite as much. You can tell Discovery to just not set this or extend that out past 7 days. You can absolutely do it from Discovery's end, or, and I'm going to tap Charlotte here, you can set your precedence rules for Discovery to not allow it to update the mark as delete value, right? You could say the golden data set is 100, but for marked as delete, it's only a 1. I'm going to walk through that real quick visually. Charlotte, if you want to discuss that while I do that.
Yeah, so by using precedences, you can basically stop the value being merged into the asset data
Right.
set.
Yes, of course, we are getting the markers deleted value as in the asset form, asset CMDB form. Maybe it will be helpful because when we are extracting the report, we will get to know that those particular servers are decommissioned and it is confirmed by BMC discovery. So that field information we need in the CMDB, but not in the asset lifecycle, asset form lifecycle status update.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's asset workflow that it's tied to the change in the status. So if when you get CIs that are marked deleted yes, then you have asset workflow that goes and makes the change into the asset lifecycle status. And so
Yeah, is
I'm
there
not
any
sure
option to exclude from the any options like do not update the asset form, asset lifecycle status when it is changed to mark as deleted to yes?
Yeah, there absolutely is. That's, you know, my primary role is actually as applications development. Yeah, you absolutely can go into the workflow and modify that to exclude computer system. Right? Yeah, you would have to customize it. But you know, I would say the better thing is to do this right here with your precedence rules. You see that, you know, ADDM globally is 900. But I've said for computer systems, I don't want you to mark that for deletion. That way, because the AST attribute record is what you're really talking about with lifecycle status. The AST attribute record is useless without a CI. It means nothing. So you really don't want to get rid of the computer system record and modify that workflow in the back end. You want to stop it here. So this particular example is what I would advise you to do. I would not advise you to set this mark as delete to 1 for all classes, because you're not going to want to keep IP endpoints. You're not going to want to keep LAN endpoints. You're not going to want to keep a lot of these different objects. Probably the only thing you are going to want to keep is business services, computer systems, products. Right. So this is what you'd be looking to do is to set these kinds of precedent exceptions. And once you have this set, and if we go over here to the asset doesn't have any rules, and it's not supposed to. Its default precedence is 100. So any source rated higher than 100 will win when there's a conflict. Any source rated below 100 loses. And whatever is in the golden data set stays there. And then you will have to get and this is on you, you will have to get very creative with your delete, purge, or archive policies for your golden data set to clean it up later. Right. So this marked as delete is supposed to, keep your CMDB clean. But if you need to keep that for historical reasons, no problem, keep it. But you're going to need one day, I said it yesterday, we might want to party like it's 1999, but we don't need CMDB data from 1999. That's just not something we're interested in. So you're eventually going to have to get rid of it. So you'll have to get creative with those rules on the back end, but absolutely that's how you would do that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. So Adam, we do have, actually it's not a question, it's more of a comment. Mark, I don't know if you're still on and you wanted to just add the conversation you've added for Jess, just in answer to her question that she had. I'm more than happy to read it out, but it's actually quite nice to hear from people. So I don't know if you'd like to just sort of add your suggestion around the containerized environment.
Yeah, hi Sam.
Hello.
Yeah, I was working on this recently. I was just going to say that containers aren't synced by default into the CMDB. Not really required. It would be software pods would be the lowest level. But if you tag everything within the container, the software pods and the clusters and everything, then you can build the application based on those tags, which is something I've been working on. And then those tags can also be used in blueprints as well to create the applications dynamically. So very little work if everything's built as part of a build pipeline to actually tag it.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually been on my radar and was one of the things that we thought we were going to be doing for building the application maps for our cloud services, containerized or not out there. So that's really helpful to know that we should be considering it for that as well. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I'd like to add back to Jess' question. I'll just share, let's see. It goes in. I can share my screen. Yep.
Yeah, it's coming up.
So can you see the
detail
outlet? So this is one of the I'll say service that we have made based on cloud infra and on-prem infra. And if we see, I have it in my service model open because I'm more familiar with service modeling and all, but okay, I'm not able to hide that. Let's see. So in this retail outlet, I'm using it. So I've made it using a blueprint for app dynamics. And in that, so we have just defined my retail outlet application. So I've mapped it. So this retail outlet is my starting node. So if my EC2 instances are changing, anything is changing, so AWS is changing, it will still not, it will still be dynamic. It will not go away from my model. My model will be updated dynamically and it will show you So let me show you the content. So all those VMs and all will appear fine here. If we see, I should have that. Yeah, so this is coming from AWS. This is coming, sorry, AWS EC2 instance. This is from Azure. So my underlying EC2 instance node will change, but because I've modeled it based on an application, it will still be dynamic and my service model will remain true. So just to answer you, Jess.
Okay.
Thanks, Indivir, for actually showing
you.
that. I was trying to find our labs that we have a lot of this data in, and I couldn't find the new labs because I know we're always redoing these to match the new things that we've built. So thanks, Indivir, for finding that for me. We actually have one more question that I want to go over, and I think I'll let Samantha close us out right after this one. Vigard, you had a really good question. If I had the choice between importing data from a quality source like VMware, Intune, or other cloud managers, or using BMC Discovery, what would be the best option? And this is the golden question. And I started off by saying there is no one solution. I love Discovery. I'm one of the biggest champions of Discovery. I think it is. I think it's the best product BMC makes. I think it's in a class all on its own in the competitive environment. It does so many things really well. It's not perfect for everything. And I'm willing to acknowledge that. And I might be the biggest advocate for Discovery on the entire planet. And he makes the argument like VMware. VMware has all of our data for our virtual machines. Of course it does. And it's going to be extremely accurate. But you know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have the software that's installed on those virtual machines. It doesn't have a historical record for a lot of those virtual machines and the exact OS version and the patch level. It doesn't have all the things, but it is very good at knowing that virtual machine. So this is what I was saying. You're going a competent CMDB is going to have no less than 5 sources of data. It's just not. And one source might just be asset management. Another might be a yearly spreadsheet we get from the network team. And another might be discovery. And, just those 3, you only need 2 more. And there you're at your 5, right? It's not very much. But absolutely, you would want, actually, I would say you would want data from all 4 of the ones you mentioned, and then more. And then you're going to use these precedence rules, which I just showed a second ago. You're going to use those precedence rules to then rank which one is more trustworthy for each attribute and for each class. Because once again, like VMware is being the example, I trust VMware for my computer system data. I don't trust it for my product data. I don't trust it for my software server data because that's not what it's built to do. So, and Pyle, I'm going to key this back to you real quick. He said, hey, use Atrium Integrator to grab that data from the database. Completely avoid the spreadsheet import. If it's something that you're going to be importing from a spreadsheet once a month, take a month, build this AI job, and go fetch the data from the database. And instead of doing it once a month, do it once a day, do it once a week. Pyle, do you want to add on to anything there from the AI perspective?
Yeah, sure, Adam. So yeah, that is something which helps a lot in the automation part, Atrium Integrator. So I would still recommend, instead of going with the spreadsheet, let's have a direct connect with the database, which can help the data fetch easily, and we can have this automated schedule to run every day, which will again remove the manual intervention, because spreadsheets are something which might have any data corruption or something which can cause issues with the transformation or the or the data upload. So let's go with the database connect, and that can be done from the Atrium integrator. So I think that option would be always over the spreadsheet use for the Atrium integrator or the automation of data upload.
Yeah. Vigard, do you have anything you want to add to that, or any questions that spurred on from that?
I really appreciated your answer. It was right to the point. And the similar questions I have also been asking myself before doing the fourth attempt on building a CMDB.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you felt like it was useful. Thanks for everyone for joining us. And if you have any questions, feel free to cut a support case, get with your account manager, your custom success manager, premier support, whoever you engage with. We definitely want to make sure you're successful. I don't want to hear that you're on your fourth attempt. Let us help you with your first. Do not, we definitely do not want you to be spinning wheels. If you feel like you're not getting somewhere, if you feel like you're struggling, at the bare minimum, open a support case. We want you to be successful, no matter what that takes. So, Samantha?
Yeah, I was actually going to just add to that we've also got the community posts. I know regularly the team on here today do look at communities. There's different forums, and part of my role is to improve on self-service to make it a lot easier for you. So if, again, there's any content that isn't out there or you can't find it, yes, there is the option of a support case, but often you have very quick questions. So I'd say communities is ideal for that. Everyone that's on here today are also available through the community. I'm going to be sending out the Q&A that's come from today. Also, this will get uploaded to YouTube. I will group together all the sessions, and if you have joined all of them, we have been going to multiple sessions. I'll put them together, so if you have missed anything, you can at least go back and look at them. And again, we can let you know who's run those sessions, so we can reach out to you. But I also want to say thank you to Adam, because it was a big topic that came up. I don't think any of us anticipated how detailed it was going to go, the type of questions. So your questions as a customer is really helpful for us to be able to develop the product, and also take it back to support. We've got Samit today from the UX team. We've got Rahul, the product manager for this area, and then a wealth of experience from the panelists. So yeah, thank you for your questions, and we hope to see you on some of the other events. Do fill in the survey. I do read those, not as frequently as I'd like to, but there's a lot of content I'm getting back, feedback, or reach out to me directly and I can put you in touch. And thank you again. Thanks to everyone, and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye, everyone.